Yo guys, what is good? It's your boy Jalmo here, back again with another video. And today we got my girlfriend another pair of Asics. So as always, before I begin today's video, if you guys have not seen my most recent video where I go over the Adidas BW armies, make sure to go check that out afterwards. But 2 videos ago, you may remember that I bought my girlfriend the Asics Gel-1130's and I put her on to Asics for the very first time. She was never really a fan of Asics as a brand. However, she has been looking for a really comfortable pair of sneakers out there, and I ultimately recommended Asics. Now, when she was trying out Asics, I did recommend the Gel-1130's as my ultimate preference. However, I did also suggest the Gel-1130's as a secondary option as well. Well, a couple of weeks later, she has been wearing the Gel-1130's non-stop. I think she finds them very comfortable, but she also wanted to try out the Gel-1130's. So I basically ended up getting her a second pair of Asics, and I'm excited to unbox this with you guys. Let's take the sneakers out of the poly mailer. With Asics, I'm always really upset that they pack the sneakers in a poly mailer instead of a box. I feel like the box would get damaged and it's just really cheap for Asics. All right, so we got the Asics out of the mailer, and as you guys can see, it's a small box. I always am so amused by how much smaller the shoe box is compared to the sneaker boxes that I get. I got a pair of Gel-1130's for her. And yeah, she does know that I got this for her. She has been waiting for me to do this review so that she can go ahead and wear these sneakers. It's really funny because every time I buy her a pair of shoes, I always ask her if I can just hold on to it so that I can make some content out of it. But that means she has to basically hold off on wearing the sneakers. So I'm pretty sure she just wants the sneakers already and she wants me to get this review over with. But enough talking, let's open up the box. All right, and as always, we got the wrapping paper, and in 3, 2, 1, sheesh! Yes, sir! As you guys can see, we do have the Asics Gel-1130's in this pink colorway. Now, the actual name for this colorway is the white and taro purple. So that's interesting because I don't really see any purple on this shoe, but I guess they call it purple, even though this is very much like almost like a hot pink kind of color. Now, like I said before, I was actually with my girlfriend when she was trying on a whole bunch of different pairs of Asics at the mall. I took her to the mall, Foot Lockers, Champs, all these stores, and basically pretty much all of them had this specific colorway. But I did get this colorway directly from Asics just because when it comes to Asics, for those of you guys that don't know, they basically offer a lot of different discounts, from teacher discounts to student discounts, military discounts, and first responder discounts. So if you fall into any of those categories, make sure to go head over to Asics because you can definitely find a good deal with the pair of sneakers. So I told her if she really wanted a comfortable pair of sneakers, she should definitely try out the Gel-1130's, but also consider the Gel-1130's as well. When it comes to Asics Gel-1130's, the best thing about them is that they are so affordable, retailing at a price of around $100, depending on the kind of materials that the sneaker is made out of. Now, for those of you guys that have been a part of my channel for a while now, you do know that I talk highly of the Asics Gel-1130's. I basically talk about them at least once a month in any of my videos, and I'm a strong believer that the Asics Gel-1130's are one of the best sneakers to get on the market today. Again, first off, they're so affordable. They're very inexpensive. Anyone on a budget can basically cop a pair of Gel-1130's. And second, they are so comfortable for the low price that you're paying. Now, unlike the Gel-1130's, there isn't too much gel technology when it comes to this sneaker, but it's so lightweight and soft that it just makes the sneaker very enjoyable to wear. It's very comfortable. I own both the Gel-1130's and the Gel-1130's, so I thought that my girlfriend could not go wrong with either pair. And obviously, I decided to get her both because I think that in order to be the judge of which sneaker is better, she should definitely be able to try on and own both. So yeah, she really liked this pink colorway right here. I don't think she owns any pink sneakers in her collection, so this is definitely going to be something new. I mean, I'm glad that I finally put my girlfriend on Asics. Now that she has 2 pairs of them, I definitely think she will not regret it. If she's wearing the Gel-1130's so often, she's definitely going to enjoy the Gel-1130's as well. She has a lot of Jordans in her collection, and honestly, After this, I feel like she's not going to be able to go back. I am not kidding when I say that Gel-1130's are so comfortable. Again, there is a reason why so many young people, like middle schoolers and high schoolers, own the Gel-1130's, and that's because they're so cheap and you can literally wear them every single day. All right, so now that I've talked about why I got the sneaker from my girlfriend, let's take a closer look into the shoe itself. All right, so starting off with the upper, we have what appears to be a mesh construction on the toe box right here in white. Now the base of the sneaker is primarily white, which makes the sneaker very wearable. Pretty much with a lot of Asics sneakers, even though they do have different colorways, their uppers are pretty much the same white base. But then on our mudguard, we do have this metallic panel, and this is quite consistent to the rest of the sneaker as well. Again, a lot of Asics have this whole metallic motif to their sneakers, making it very shiny, almost kind of like steel, basically. But then on top of our metallic mudguard right here, we do have some pink lining, which is basically the emphasis of the sneaker's colorway. Now above the toe box, we do have the Asics logo written in this metallic print right here. Under that, we do have that pink panel once again. Now moving over to the tongue area for our shoelaces, we have some white rope laces, nothing too crazy about those. Now our tongue is also consistent to the mesh construction of the sneaker as well. This is also in white. I think one thing I really like about this mesh construction is that it's designed to be breathable, so there's a lot of perforation. And then at the top of the tongue, this is where we have our Asics logo that is made with this rubber material and is glued on. Obviously, the Asics logo is in pink. And then underneath that, this is where we have the model's name, the Gel-1130's, which is written in pink. However, it is on top of a metallic panel as well. Now, moving over to the side profile of the sneaker, this is where we have our signature Onitsuka Tiger logo. It is in pink and is layered on top of a metallic panel. Now, moving towards the back of the side profile of the sneaker, we do have the word gel that is kind of written in. It follows the rest of the motif of having that pink and metallic pattern as well. And then towards the back profile, this is where we have a lot of our pink stripes right here. And then moving over to the midsole area, starting with the side profile, we have this rubber carbon plate right here, obviously to help the sneaker have some structure and support. But then as we move over to the back of the midsoles, this is where we have our gel technology. And here on the Gel-1130's, when it comes to the gel technology, it's not as squishy as the Gel-1130's or the GT2160's. This is actually pretty firm. That's not to say that the sneaker is not comfortable, but there is less gel material compared to their other big brothers. The midsole is also made in this really soft and plush foam as well. Now, I also wanted to talk about the inner lining of the sneaker. Now, even though you clearly see pink, you can kind of make an argument for why this might be a little bit purple, hence the sneaker's model name. So I get why it is Taro Purple. I actually kind of like the shade of pink. It's almost like very dark and muted, almost like in this mauve colorway. And then moving over to the insoles of the sneaker, this is our typical Asics insole. When it comes to Asics insoles, they are very soft and plush. There's a lot of foam right here. And then we have our Asics logo in pink, following the rest of the sneaker's theme. Finally, moving on to our outsoles of the sneaker, we do have our Asics Gel-1130's typical traction patterning. We see a lot of pink right here. We see some gray to complement that pink. And overall, I think that this is a very nice color scheming. So yeah, honestly, I've talked about the Asics Gel-1130 so much on my channel that there really isn't anything new to say. Now, the only thing I can add is that if this is your first time on my channel, I strongly recommend getting a pair of Asics Gel-1130's. Yes, I know they're not your typical contemporary kind of sneaker. They don't look very minimal. However, you will not complain when you're wearing these on your feet. You'll get used to the look of them, even though that they're kind of looking a little dad-like. They're looking a little chunky. You really get used to it for how comfortable they are. It's an ultimate trade-off. One thing I forgot to mention is that when it comes to sizing, the Gel-1130's do fit true to size. One thing that I love about them is that they don't necessarily cater towards slim-footed people. If you are someone that is wide-footed, the Gel-1130's is a great sneaker for you. They don't feel like they are squeezing your foot, and because they are so lightweight, they feel great. You don't really need to go up a size just so that you can fit into them. But that also doesn't mean that the sneaker is chunky on its own as well. I feel like it's a very versatile sneaker and they kind of fit all different kinds of foot sizes. At first, I thought Asics were really ugly. I didn't like them at all, but then I put on a pair for myself and I really realized why people fell in love with them to begin with. So definitely give it a try. They're available at pretty much any store that you walk into. Asics Gel-1130's are probably your best bet on a budget when it comes to Asics sneakers. So there we have it, the Asics Gel-1130's in this pink colorway. I know my girlfriend is going to be excited to finally bust out this pair for herself. Not gonna lie, the more I look at this, the cuter it gets. All right, that's pretty much everything I got for today's video, but now I'll hear from you guys. For those of you guys that do own a pair of Asics, what was the year that you owned your first pair? Let me know in the comments down below. For me, I would say, I think it was like 2020, I believe it was like 2023 for me. If you guys have owned Asics for even longer than that, I would love to hear from you. And as always, if you guys like the video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you guys want to hear more from me, smash the subscribe button because more will be on the way. Again, these are the Asics Gel-1130's, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!